Hi, I'm Robert Henson. Welcome to our home. In our last video, we did fish tacos, and it was amazing. Today, we're going to follow up with beef. This recipe is being developed for our new menu that's coming out. And so we're going to try to do the beef and the chicken first. Note that this is not authentic Mexican. I work in an American restaurant that wants to do this. So keep that in mind as we develop this recipe together. I've been assigned a restaurant development at work, and I thought it would be fun to do here. So what I've done is I've gone to the store, essentially bought the ingredients that I think that I'll be using in the restaurant. Let's start out real simple by giving you a list of our ingredients. We have ancho peppers, we have Oaxaca peppers, we're using chuck roast, we have corn tortillas, olive oil, beef broth, chicken broth, tomato sauce, tomatoes with chili, we have chipotles, salt, pepper, bay leaves, and cumin, and adobo. So it took me for a second to get that, but we got it. And we're going to try to develop the recipe here. This will be a very basic recipe as far as seasoning and things of that nature. So we'll go, it's more of a 2 or 3 part series where you try something. Okay, we're gonna add this and this and this until you've come up with the full recipe. I'll try to keep close as I can to measurements and things of that nature, but it's sort of going to be on the whim. We're going to just sort of get a basis of what we want to do, and then we'll go from there. So, all right, so we're going to start out really simple. We're going to start out by putting our anchos in the pan just for a few minutes or a few seconds to just warm them up a little bit, wake them up, and get them ready to work. As we pull these anchos out, we'll do the same thing with our Oaxacas. We're just going to release the oil in them, soften them up a little bit. I'm not going to worry about boiling them or anything of that nature because we're actually going to be putting them into our sauce in our pan. Now this is going to be, I'm going to try to make this a one sauce, one step recipe. We are not going to be doing it all the way on the stove. We will actually be braising this meat. So keep in mind that, like I said, it's not truly a traditional recipe. This is a recipe that I'm actually developing for the restaurant that I work at, and these are things that I have to keep in mind to make life easier on us. All right, so let's start out by a real simple process of seasoning the beef. I think I'm just gonna keep it very basic. We're gonna do a little salt and a touch of pepper. I'm going to sear this off. In many classical recipes, it goes straight into hot water. However, I feel like some of the classical training that I've learned through the years, and for plate presentation wise, I want to give this a little bit of color on the outside. So we'll sear it off for a minute and take it from there. So we'll start out by adding a little olive oil. Placing our roast in the pan. Always place it away from you so it doesn't splatter. And we're gonna let that sear and then prepare our vegetables. We have one side seared. We'll flip it over and do the other side. So our roast is almost finished searing. Gonna take our onions and just a large dice of this is fine. Ultimately what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the sauce, put it in a blender, and do a finishing with that. Beef off. We got good color and sear on each side. Got some funk working on the bottom of this. We're gonna throw in our onions and garlic. Let's just throw in a few Roma tomatoes too. Season our vegetables. Salt. Pepper. Start adding our spices and herbs. 2 or 3 bay leaves. Stick of cinnamon. Touch of oregano. Give it a quick stir. And all we're trying to do is sort of wake these vegetables up a little bit. We'll pull the funk off the bottom to make sure we have great flavor. Can of tomato sauce. Half a can of tomato and green chilies. Now this is entirely up to you, but this is chipotle peppers with adobo, and it can be a little spicy, so I'm gonna just put in just a little bit. We're gonna add our beef broth. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to take the meat, bring it to a boil, throw it in the oven. We're going to add our chilies back into the pot.
Okay.
So the beef is out from the oven. Let's remove it. Oh my goodness, would you look at that? It's just literally falling apart. This looks absolutely amazing. Okay, we're gonna take our sauce. Take our sauce and put it in the blender. And I actually may need to add a little liquid to this because it looks a little thick. We'll blend it, we'll look at it, and we'll decide. I love cast iron and I love this Dutch oven, but sometimes it tends to really cook at a higher, hotter speed. So I'm really pleased overall though with how the beef came out, how the sauce is. We'll take the sauce, we'll blend and strain. Strain the sauce. Our sauce strained and at the right consistency now. We're gonna take our beef and watch this, guys. We're gonna shred our beef. I don't even know if we even need to touch it. Shred the beef, put it into a pan. Take some of our sauce. Look at that beautiful sauce. Great, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna heat this back up because we let this cool. Take this and use it as our dipping sauce. And we're also gonna dip our tortillas into it. So stick around, the best is yet to come. So this is where the love starts. Add a little olive oil to a hot pan. Take your corn tortilla, dip it into the sauce we've just made, and lay it in your pan. Look at the steam. Add a little cheese. This is one of my favorite things to do. This is where the flavor really begins. Start building and layering all kinds of different flavors on this. As you can see, we've melted the cheese. I add a little sauce to the top of it. And I wish you were here to smell this because it is absolutely amazing. And this is the end result of something absolutely amazing. Thanks for watching. Get ready for our second series on chicken tacos in the near future.